Lindy Somick, who is from the Saginaw Ojibwe Nation, and she's going to deliver our land acknowledgement today.
The DNC acknowledges and honors the Dakota Oyate, the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis.
James Carville was going ballistic on the DNC over that atrocity that you just witnessed. They began their summer meeting with a land acknowledgement.
The DNC does not exist to right wrongs. It doesn't exist to acknowledge the more unpleasant parts of history. It doesn't exist to make people feel good. It exists, get this through your head, to win elections. Now, do you think that is going to help us win elections by talking about land theft from the Dakotas? We're not. Please stop this in the name of a just, merciful God. No, you don't have but one job, Ken. You're supposed to try to win elections.
Oof, that's painful. And somehow it gets more embarrassing for the Democrats. The DNC summer meeting also introduced a fight song the party could adopt. We don't have audio of it, but don't worry, I will butcher it for you. Brace yourselves. DEMS, we rise. Stronger together, blue skies. Lift your voice, we're bold and true. Onward, Democrats, we shine blue. Talk about North Korea. Listen, Joey, I got to come to you as a veteran, not exactly the holes of Montezuma there with that fight song. You intimidated? What do you make of that?
No, that's funny. With James Carville, I don't know. Maybe he's got the truth serum, or maybe it's time for him to go out to pasture. He's just angry all the time, and I don't think that appeals to anyone. I think the funniest thing about this is, this idea that Democrats still want to appease every single group they can and throw their big tent. And Donald Trump has taken the wind out from under the sails of that big tent. There are no more disenfranchised group of people in this country than Native Americans. And we've talked them into doing it to themselves. There's a lot there. There's a lot there you could fix or offer solutions to Native American people that live, especially those that live on reservations, and have said, you know what, rather than going out and pursuing the American dream, I'm going to stay on the reservation where at least I know there's a paycheck that comes in, and then things like alcoholism run rampant. There's a lot of problems there. But instead, your way of addressing them is to patronize them about some myth of a stolen land from hundreds of years ago. I don't know if that's how they reach out to every group of people that have problems that need to be fixed. Maybe Donald Trump will be in for another term.
So I think Carville's point, is well taken, which is that, look, you're not going to, in a forum like that, you're not going to be able to relitigate the entire American Indian colonialism issue. What he's trying to focus on, Jessica, is winning elections, right? And he doesn't want to relitigate that at this summer camp they held. So what do you think? Is this worthwhile? Is it working?
James Carville?
The whole thing, the idea of holding a summer camp where you're going to say, let's go back to American history.
There is no Democrat online or in the real world who is happy with what's going on at the DNC right now. And it's being reflected in the fundraising. I mean, the Republicans have an enormous advantage when it's DNC versus RNC. I will note on the congressional level, the DCCC is outraising the Republican arm. So it really is a DNC problem. And Ken Martin was elected to this post, but there are a lot of people, I don't want to say they have buyer's remorse, but who are saying, well, Ben Wickler, who ran the Wisconsin Democratic Party, might have been a better choice for this because, we had those 45 words that Third Way, the think tank, put out last week saying, you shouldn't be saying those things. And they didn't even think that they had to say, don't do a land acknowledgement. So this is the kind of stuff that I hate having to talk about. But this notion that Republicans are coasting right now and the wind is beneath the sails of Donald Trump is just not borne out by what's really going on the ground. And you can see it just today that Joni Ernst is not going to run for re-election in Iowa. She is someone who's very popular. She's talked about for leadership roles. Suddenly, she's not going to run. And what's really interesting is earlier in the week, there was a special election in Iowa State House, a seat that went with Trump 11.5 points, 20-point swing in the other direction, and now the Democrat has broken the Republican supermajority. The polling on the generic ballot has Democrats up 5 to 8 points. Mike Johnson, and God bless him that he keeps going out there and doing media. He was embarrassed on our air with Bill Malugin and Dana this morning talking about crime in Republican states. And he was on CNN, and John Berman says to him, you know, what are you going to do? The BBB is hugely unpopular. He says, oh, well, the provisions aren't. And then John Berman reads out the provisions. Cutting SNAP, cutting Medicaid, tax cuts for the rich, all underwater. That is what the midterms are going to be about. It's not looking that peachy for Republicans.
So in other words, you're saying the DNC and this Ken Martin, who's kind of like the Barney Fife of Democratic leadership here, he's the outlier. And really, you're saying things are going well,
no,
but
I'm
this
saying
whole thing is
that
performative?
to go back to what Greg was saying, where you have 0% of Democrats that are happy with how it's going, they're going to show up and vote. That's what it's partisanship. It's pure partisanship. They will show up to oppose the Republicans and the Republican agenda, which is going to hurt everyday
As they
Americans.
embrace the pro-crime agenda.
We'll see. Exactly.
Well, we're
We got
with you
crime.
now.
Yeah, good for that.
All right, Greg, go ahead. Take it on.
So this land acknowledgement thing is the perfect example of the virtue signal. It's words without deeds. That is the Democrat Party. That's why you guys are in a shambles. So this dork comes out and says, we're doing this on stolen land. Well, great. Pack up and leave. You know, do it on a barge in the ocean. Nobody stole the ocean. Do that. Oh, no. The acknowledgement, that's the action that we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. It's the thought that counts. It's like a person who cuts you off and then waves at you. It's like, I feel bad, but not bad enough to stop. It's like, if you're not going to do anything about it, why even bring it up, you dumbhead? You know, the Dems, they set themselves up as some impotent, like ineffective fool. They tell you right off the bat that they're doing something wrong, but they're going to do nothing to fix it. It's a big fly around here.
It's huge.
But it's how they handle crime, the border, trans. They do platitudes that keep them safe from guilt. But you got to ask, who is this for? It's not for Native Americans. Is it for Liz Warren? Maybe. Who knows? But it's kind of amazing that you don't have one Democrat that has the balls to say, just stop it. We've had enough of this. By the way, this is why you don't have men in your party anymore. You just have fake men. Because this is so wimpy and so spineless that, like, if an activist demanded that you acknowledge the struggle of trans in the catering business before every meal, you would do it. I mean, we should start demanding Dems to do all sorts of acknowledgments just for fun.
Can you imagine what the menu and activities were like at his DNC summer camp, the vegan s'mores? Sandra, what do you got on this in the time we have?
It's hard to question a fellow Tiger. But James Carville, isn't this what they laid out as the latest playbook from the DNC? It was to get out there and swear and cuss. And
Yeah. Fight. Yeah, we haven't heard that
make
before.
fun. All this has a, I mean, I think that's what we just saw from him. I don't know if that anger works. It hasn't in the past for Democrats. But remember James Carville in the New York Times just a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago now. He was the one who penned the piece, My Fix for the Confused and Leaderless Democrats. So a month later, they're still not listening. But he said, Ken Martin, the DNC chair, he said, I'm sick and tired of Democrats bringing a pencil to a knife fight. He went on to say, we got to stand up and fight. This is more Donald Trump playbook, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fight comes to mind.
Exactly.
I don't know that the Democrats have done any studying, and I don't know if they know who they are, and that's where we are.
Well, it seems like the DNC is going one way. According to Jessica, the electorate's going the other. We'll have to see in the midterms. Okay, up next, Democrats are going way too far with their rhetoric. A lawmaker is calling for an uprising against ICE agents.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.